A day later, after the Pulwama attack on the 15th, Indian Air Force Chief Birender Singh Dhanoa presented the idea of an airstrike in front of the Indian government, and that was approved on the same day. For the next 5 days, which was on from the 16th till the 20th of February, as we can see, the idea was presented on the 15th of February by Air Chief Marshal Dhanoa, presenting the idea of an airstrike as a retaliatory option for India to reply or avenge Pulwama. And then after the next 5 days that followed, there was a lot of air surveillance along the line of actual control being conducted by the Indian Air Force, along with the help of the Indian Army, of course, and with the help of Heron drones as well, so that to ensure that there's absolute clarity on every single operational detail on the day. And that happened between 16th and 20th of February. The next 2 days that followed, there were target tables being drawn by the Indian Air Force men and also intelligence agencies. These target tables, if I can tell my viewers what they are possible sites of strike for the Indian Air Force, which were then presented to India's Defense Advisor Ajit Doval, and he, of course, then approved all. He evaluated all the options that could be attacked by the Indian Air Force, and finally zeroed down upon all the specific final points of a target that would be destroyed by the strike team of the Indian Air Force, and that happened on the 21st of February. Of course, on the 22nd of February, IAF's Squadron 1 Tigers and 7 Squadron Battle X's activated for strike mission, and the 2 Mirage squadrons, of course, designated a total of 12 fighter jets for the mission. 2 days later, on the 24th of February, of course, a trial run was conducted in central India, and that was conducted, of course, taking into consideration the 2 assistance aircrafts of the Indian Air Force, the early warning jet, which flew off from Bhatinda, and the mid-air refueling tanker, which flew off from Agra. Of course, the trial run was successful, and our brave soldiers were then ready for D-Day. Let's now, viewers, talk about the operational details of D-Day. It all started today at 3:30 in the morning, when a total of 12 aircrafts, 12 fighter jets took off from Gwalior Air Base in India. Of course, all these aircrafts are heavily armed with 500 to 1,000 lb of laser-guided bombs, and also fitted in these aircrafts were special Israeli-made laser pods. These laser pods are used for the purpose of locking down or zeroing down on the targets. 2 minutes later, the 2 assistance aircrafts of the Indian Air Force, the early warning jet and, of course, the mid-air refueler, were also taken off from their respective places in Bhatinda and Agra. 5 minutes later, the Indian Air Contingent from Bhatinda, of course, the assistance aircraft took off. 5 minutes later, at 3:35 a.m., the entire Indian strike team reached the LOC, crossed the LOC, mind you, at a very low altitude, so as to avoid getting detected by any Pakistani air surveillance. Then at 3:40, the Indian Air Force pilots made the final check on their target points, and after the go-ahead was given from the command center, it was then that the actual fireworks began. It was 3:45 when the first strike was made, of course, at Balakot, and it lasted for 8 minutes till 3:53. That happened across 40 kilometers across the line of control towards the Pakistani side, and in that attack, a lot of JEM terror camps and training camps were completely destroyed. We also got reports that the brother-in-law of JEM Chief Masood Azhar was also killed during that attack. The second attack was, of course, made in Muzaffarabad, and that happened at exactly 3:48 in the morning today, and that lasted for 7 minutes till 3:55 a.m. The third and the final punch was delivered at 3:55, and that happened, of course, at Chakoti. And a minute later, after bombing, after releasing or unloading 6 bombs on these 3 target locations, all the 12 fighter jets of the Indian Air Force along with the assistance aircrafts took off at 3:56 and safely returned home. The Pakistani retaliatory force sought about retaliating, but such was the might and such was the formation of our Indian fighter pilots that they did not dare to make that retaliatory step. Our pilots returned home safe by 3:56 a.m., a 21-minute operation called Surgical Strike 2.0, and eventually Pulwama was avenged.